Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran, Wadurra, the Jews of the Quran and Spares. Still reading from Surah Ar-Rum, the Romans. And in the last session, we have dealt with verse 22 about the creation of the heavens, the earth, the universe, and the diversity of the languages, human languages, and colors. And that these are signs, surely in this are signs for those of sound knowledge. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن آياته خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف ألسنتكم وألوانكم إن في ذلك لآيات للعالمين. إن في ذلك لآيات للعالمين. Those of sound knowledge. للعالمين. We have of course the creation of the universe. These are signs pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also our tongues and our colors. Our tongues, ألسنتكم واختلاف ألسنتكم وألوانكم. The issue with the color, when they say, as we said earlier, when they say that color is skin deep, that's exactly what it is. But the anthropologists, they theorize that humanity began in Africa, probably somewhere in Ethiopia, but that's not the issue. The issue is that we talk about a dark Adam, if you will, and that's exactly what Adam means in Arabic, and al-Adama, same thing in Hebrew, Adama. We talk about earth, and that's not really why to say the least. And from Adam alayhi salam, even if you are you talk about evolutionary background, you'd still have to begin. One day you are going to begin with the first Adam. I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam. And in terms of languages, we have two stories in Genesis, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, and in the Quran. In Genesis 2:19-20, Adam is tasked with naming all the animals brought to him by God. It is Adam who names the animals, which means that he has possessed the ability. He has the language already, but where did it come from? The Quran is clear about this. The Quran says that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, it is chapter 2. This is Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 31. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Adam the names of all things. And if you talk about the theories of language today, you need, for all human beings, of course, this Adam would be an exception. For all of us, we need an environment so that we could acquire language. It is acquired. And this could not be the case only with Adam, alayhi salam. This could not be the case because he had no human environment. There is no social context from which basically no parents, no siblings, no neighbors, no classmates, no. So it has to be external. And obviously the difference is very important between the biblical narrative where Adam is the one who names things, and between the Quran that says that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is God who taught Adam the names of all things. And in fact, Adam needed to be taught the language so that he would understand what's his role, what is lawful for him, and what is prohibited. That he would dwell in the Garden of Eden, or the garden, and there was one prohibited tree for him There are no details of the tree in the Quran, but there was one tree for him that he should not eat from, and that's basically everything in in the garden was uh, uh, lawful for him to enjoy. We know how later on Satan seduced him, tempted him, and tempted Eve. In Genesis, Eve eats first, and then she uh, seduces Adam. In the Quran uses the dual suffix pronoun, and we have no there is no place in the Quran where Adam eats first or Eve eats first. The dual suffix pronoun, both of them were tempted, both of them succumbed, both of them ate, both of them were expelled, and there are no names, only the pronoun, which makes it basically on equal footing. Though we know that in the Quran, there's more responsibility on the shoulder of the shoulders of Adam, alayhi salam. Again, now that's basically about language, acquiring language, and the case of Adam alayhi salam. Now, if we talk about languages in the plural, we have this verse in the Quran. We talk about verse 22 of Surah Ar-Rum, where the tongues, alsinatikum, and by the way, you know very well that languages in English, the word itself, originally the etymology of the word goes back to to Latin, where lingua, language, is tongue. Now, in the Quran, these languages are considered signs, positive signs, um, pointing to the to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. These are wonderful things. They are to be celebrated. The biblical narrative about the origin of the different languages is that God came down to see the city. Talk about the the Tower of Babel story, and he saw that people were building a tower. I don't know where people got the idea that God was jealous of people. Some would say that it's basically because of their arrogance. And he saw that they were united, that they could communicate with each other. And he decided then to disperse them, to scatter them. And thus he created all of these languages so that they could not communicate with each other. He confound the language of all the earth. And when we talk about the Tower of Babel, Bilbul in Hebrew, that's basically about creating confusion. And that's also another big difference between the biblical narrative about the origin of the languages and the Quranic story, whereby these languages are considered positive signs pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot hide that I'm really comfortable and happy with both the story of Adam alayhi salam being taught the language, the names of all things, and all these languages being positive signs, ayat, pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of this universe. The other issue, the alwan, the colors of people, they should not be. We spoke about this, but I would like to reiterate that in Islam, the Islamic worldview, we don't talk about tolerance because tolerance entails some degree of being annoyed. There is certain rejection. There is something that you are not happy with, that you're not comfortable with. All this racial profiling that we have today around the world, especially in Western countries. Again, if it's not tolerance, what is it? It is celebration. If it's a sign, if it's ayah pointing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we should celebrate it. We should not discriminate against people, neither because of the language, which ultimately means the culture, nor the color, which we ultimately, there's a human being beneath, behind, beyond the color. And again, I love what Ibn Kathir said in his tafsir, in his exegesis of the Quran, that all the people of the earth, all human beings, uh, he said, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since God created Adam, until the day of judgment, all human beings have two eyes, have two eyebrows, has a nose, every human being has a nose, has a forehead, has a mouth, has two cheeks. You are not a better human being. You have exactly functionally uh, what everybody else has. There's a human being there, but there will be always differences. Subhanallah, from a different context in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of uh, he could have created human beings with the same the same uh, fingers, same, and we understood this as the same fingerprint, and there's a difference even between identical twins once we talk about the finger. Subhanallah, there are signs uh, in the Quran and signs in the universe. We use the same word, ayat, ayah, and ayat. Another um, other signs. ومن آياته منامكم بالليل والنهار ومن آياته منامكم بالليل والنهار وابتغاؤكم من فضله إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يسمعون. And one of his signs is your sleep by night and by day for rest. Of course, for rest. As well as your seeking his bounty in both, surely. And these are signs for people who listen. They sleep at night, get up and work during the day. Our life is there's almost, I'm not saying that everyone, but many of us with electronic gadgets and different uh, the modern way, contemporary way of life, the way of life that is definitely does not respect the circadian rhythm. That's not what it should be. And now, when they talk about people who uh, are successful, they get their share of sleep, but they do sleep early, they get up early. Uh, Probably not everyone is going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but we do get up, and we should get up 4 o'clock in the morning. It could be a little bit earlier uh, uh, to pray Fajr, and maybe if one is successful to pray during the last 1/3 of the night. Sleep at night, be active during the day, and seek from the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's also a sign, subhanallah, if we just follow the sunnah. The sunnah is against really, uh, except for someone who is really having a chat with his wife. Just simply you can stay up a little bit, but the idea is uh, people who entertain themselves until dawn, that's really a serious issue. Other signs. ومن آياته يريكم البرق خوفا وطمعا وينزل من السماء ماء فيحيي به الأرض بعد موتها إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون. And one of his signs, of Allah's signs, is that He shows you lightning, inspiring you with hope and fear. And He sends down rain from the sky, reviving the earth after its death. Surely in this are signs for people who understand. The earth comes to um, the earth coming to life and going back to the same state again, time and again, a cycle. And that's us too. The lightning, when you see the lightning, you understand there will be usually there is rain, though sometimes you'll it'll be associated with rain. And the fear is the fear of the lightning striking you or striking your property. It could strike a massive tree next to your house, and it will. We have seen, I'm sure that you have seen lightning striking massive trees is just simply uh, uh, knocking it down, massive trees. And if it's really a single home, one of these houses built out of plywood and in the West, then definitely it will not survive the lightning. And if it strikes people, uh, for not in every case, but most for them, it seems that in most cases people will die. The electricity in a lightning, it could be in the millions of volts, millions of volts. You cannot basically tolerate uh, 220 volts. Imagine when you talk about a million volt or two or uh, as a youngster I was electrocuted once. Uh, Only once. And if it were not for a neighbor who saw me, it was a live wire outside. Uh, we were visiting a group from our neighborhood visiting another country, and there was a live wire that I did not pay attention to, and I touched it, and it tossed me around, and a neighbor jumped, and he disconnected the wire, but it as if I were a feather, and I had no control at all about what's going on. So the lightning, fear and hope, fear and hope. خوف وطمع. It's not only hope, but basically you are looking for the fruit of the rain itself is desired. Water. Subhanallah. Other signs. ومن آياته أن تقوم السماء والأرض بأمره ثم إذا دعاكم دعوة من الأرض إذا أنتم تخرجون. And one of his signs is that the heavens and the earth persist by his command. The order of the universe, the laws of physics, the laws that keep the galaxies where they are and heading where they are heading. It seems that, of course, we are heading away from a point. Let's call it the center. The people, astrophysicists can calculate that, and this is how they got the idea of the Big Bang. Except that the Milky Way and Andromeda are speeding toward each other. Everything in the universe, the black matter theory, whatever. The idea is that all laws in the universe, laws of the universe, and I will stress the word laws, whether they are known to us or we are yet to discover, this is really the Amr. This is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the decree. It's a divine decree. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe, and they exist, they persist, they continue the way they are. But then there will be one day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls you out of the earth just once. You will instantly come forth. وَلَهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كُلُّ لَهُ قَانِتُونَ, and to him belong all those in the heavens and the earth, all are subject to his will, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who originates the creation, then will resurrect it. وَهُوَ الَّذِي يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ وَهُوَ أَهْوَنُ عَلَيْهِ, which is even easier for him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is this is really the human perspective seeing things. Otherwise, both the creation and the resurrection of humans are easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing difficult that our small minds might not grasp. They think that if you repeat it, then it's easier. وله المثل الأعلى في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. To him belong the finest attributes in the heavens and the earth, and he is the Almighty, all-wise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe. He originated the creation. Nothing on its own. Nothing exists on its own. There's no contradiction between science and Islam. Science confirms. Science is compatible with the Quranic narrative. Islam advocated thinking, pondering, exploring, as we have mentioned more than once. The Quran invites us to ponder upon the universe. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and they ponder about the creation of the heavens and the earth, ultimately realizing that this was not created in vain. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ قِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. There's no prohibition. We are encouraged to understand the laws in the universe, and I would like to invite the Muslim and non-Muslim scientists on equal footing, not to be blinded by theories because they are fashionable or because there is fear of, and this is really, to my knowledge, the case. If you don't subscribe to the theory of evolution, your research will not be funded. There's no room for you. You'll be ostracized. Be true to yourself. Science should not be. If we have something that appears to be a contradiction, either our understanding of the Quran is incorrect, or it is not a scientific law, or both. But we cannot have two. We cannot have basically two different truths between the Quran and the universe. Both are they are the command, they are the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Literally, the Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the eternal word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the universe is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is His command. In the inshallah, in the next session, we'll deal with the verses, the first two verses about being steadfast in faith, the natural way, Hanifa, as instilled, as the natural disposition, as instilled in all people. Until then, subhanaka wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.